Welcome to the Learn from Texas channel. If you are new here, I am Learn from Texas. If you are not new here and you are a subscriber, thank you. So this week we're gonna do something a little different, okay? I thought to make a video about one of my favorite shows, not Insecure. If you know, you know. One of my other favorite shows is Sex and the City, okay? So I looked at Sex and the City in my 20s. When I was younger, y'all, I thought Sex and the City was something else. If you know, then you know. So in my 20s, I looked at Sex and the City, honey, and I was just enthralled with the fashion and the dating of it all, the romance, the friendship, everything like that, right? But now in my 30s, Sex and the City hits different, okay? Sex and the City high key is toxic in the city, and we gonna talk about it, okay? So if you are ready, I have myself a little glass of wine here. Go ahead and get you a glass, get you a little snack, and we gonna get into the things. I'm gonna get cozy here on the couch, y'all. So Sex and the if you see me looking down, I'm looking at some notes that I've created for this video, okay? So Sex and the City came out in 1998. It was on HBO, okay? And it is based off of a book by Candace Bushnell, okay? I actually have the book. It's a wonderful book, okay? And it follows 4 women in New York City, you know, through their adventures and love and life and friendship and sex and, you know, all the things, right? But let's be real, okay? Sex in the City was toxic as hell. First of all, we're gonna talk about Carrie. Now, I love Carrie down, right? The fashion, the hair. She was that girl, okay? But Carrie is the original pick-me, okay? Girl, Carrie was chasing around big all around New York, okay? And it just, you know, it just didn't make sense, okay? Big in the movie, okay, we didn't even talk about just the show. In the movie, after she chased this man for years, okay, he left her at the altar.
I freaked out for a minute, but I'm ready now.
At the altar, and she still married him, okay? Also, too, Big, we'll get deeper into Big, okay? But she was very much so Pick-Misha, okay? The original Pick-Misha, okay?
I mean, don't move for me.
Well, why would I move to Paris if it wasn't for you?
Also, too, there was a visible lack of black people. To be clear, there wasn't a whole lot of diversity on Sex and the City, except for the time when Samantha dated Siobhan, okay, and decided that she was gonna take on this black scent.
Correct. She can't diss me just because I'm white.
Also, too, when they did have representation of women of color or people of color, it was like giving the angry black woman persona of it all.
I'll say it to you plain. Happens to have the biggest black cock we know. He has a big black cock. I was about to say biggest heart.
There was the diversity in Sex in the City, okay? Also, too, I'm gonna be all over the place with this. Carrie Hockey was a narcissist. She was a pick-me and she was a narcissist, okay? Because she was always bringing everything back to her. You know what I mean? Like, the other ladies had things going on in their life too, right? But honey, at the end of the day, in that coffee shop, we're gonna be bringing it right back to Carrie.
I pity him because I get to walk away and be me, and he has to walk away and stay him, you know? And who wants to be him when you could be me? I mean,
I think specifically of this moment when Carrie had just got broken up with by her karma. I cannot think of that man's name. I'll put it on the screen if I can think of his name. But he broke up with her on a Post-it note. On a Post-it note. He broke up with her on a Post-it note. So that day, Charlotte, and we're gonna talk about Charlotte next. That day, Charlotte had got proposed to by what was his name? Oh, I should have took better notes. I'm gonna put his name on the screen too. It was her second marriage, the good marriage, where she learned a lot. But anyway, they sitting there. She got proposed to, and Carrie's like, "Oh yeah, that's nice." The breakup, the post-it note.
Be engaged now.
Uh-huh.
A mess. Okay. Also, too, the way Carrie did Aiden.
Holding me and
You broke my heart!
Carrie, was dating Aiden. She cheated on Aiden with Big several times. Not just, once or twice. She cheated on him several times with Big.
I was doing business in the area. We kind of bumped into each other.
Okay? Then turns around and decides that after they've broken up, she wants him back. She cannot live without Aiden, right? Proceeds to get back into a relationship with Aiden, all to keep Big in her life.
I don't want you to see him ever again.
can't do that.
And Aiden, what was going on with you, bro? Like, Aiden all these people needed to be on somebody's couch, okay? Therapy, okay? Because Aiden, first of all, when it was an instance where they were making love and Big called during the session, why are we not nipping this in the bud? You still talking to him? No, sis, we gonna have to cut that off. No, Aiden was like, you know what? I'ma just deal with that. I'ma just let that roll. Then let him come to his farmhouse or his home later in the relationship, in the second go around. Let Big come to the house.
Isn't it a little early?
With them, because he was going through a breakup. The man who Carrie cheated on you with, why is he here, Aiden? Why? Look, when Carrie told Aiden initially, he's in my life, I'd have been like, well, you're not going to be in my life, because that was too much. Aiden, no. Drug Aiden through the mud, okay? But he let her drag her. He let her drag her, okay? Then everyone, first of all, to me, the most fluid and the most, if you want to, say feminist person on the show was Samantha. She was very much so free with her, and Miranda, because Miranda was a lawyer. She was a career woman. She, she was independent, if you will. But they were always judging Samantha for having a sex life. The show is called Sex in the City. So why y'all always judging Sam for actually having the sex?
Would never walk in on me because that is something I would never do. There.
Like, it was always the slut shaming with Sam. I did not appreciate that. Okay, like, why are we slut shaming Sam? Because she wants to, be free with her sex life. Like, it was always the slut shaming. Also, too, Charlotte. Let's talk about Charlotte for a little bit. We're gonna talk about Charlotte for a little bit. Charlotte was always living in this beautiful fairy tale in her head.
Sweetheart, you can't go listening to every fucking little voice that runs through your head. It'll drive you nuts.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to have all of these rules when you're dating, and then, after you do all of these unrealistic rules, this man is gonna come in and sweep you off your feet and save you.
That only happens in fairy tales.
And be your knight in shining armor. And for a spell, she had that with Trey. Y'all remember Trey?
Are you all right? Hey, right. Are you all right?
Yeah, I think so.
She met Trey. He was a doctor, okay? He was very prestigious and all the things. And then they proceeded to get married too quick. She didn't take her good time getting to know Trey. And he swept her off her feet. She didn't have to work. That she lived in that penthouse, that very nice, very beautiful penthouse. I remember that penthouse. And she also got his very attached mother
from medical school.
Later that week, Charlotte met the head and heart of Trey's family.
And his flaccid. I mean, she was saved, but you know, it wasn't very much else. You know, like after that, I didn't, you know, but all of these, I love when Charlotte met Harry and she realized that all of these, that love is not going to always look the way you think it's going to look. That it's not, you know, going to be obtained with all these rules and all of these, what's the words I'm looking for? Rituals. You know what I mean? When she met Harry, Harry was not her type. Harry was a divorce lawyer from Trey. He was not her type, but he loved her. He cared about her. He wanted to nurture her. He wanted to see her grow, be all that she could be, like the army.
I would be lucky to have you.
You know what I mean? Okay, so I have thoughts. Now I've heard these theories on the internet also, but I also kind of really believe this. I think that, now if y'all remember Natasha was Big's second wife, okay? I think that Big was with Natasha when he met Carrie.
What are you doing here?
Okay? I think that at the time he met Carrie, he was very much so courting Natasha, okay? And see, if y'all ever really paid attention, Big had a type. His type was tall brunettes, okay? Very classic brunettes. And Carrie was petite blonde. Carrie they never really talk about, you know, the family that Carrie came from, besides her father leaving when she was young. So she was raised by a single mom. You know what I mean? She was not wealthy like Natasha was. Natasha came from wealth. She was a model for Ralph Lauren. She later started to work for that company. And, you know, Carrie was like a sex writer.
You know, she's shiny hairs, style section, Vera Wang, and I'm, you know, the sex...
you know what I mean? Not to diminish Carrie's... Carrie. She, for what it's worth, Carrie was doing well for herself, living in New York City by herself, buying all the Chanel, Gucci. I don't know. Well, we know later she was in debt buying all the Chanel, Gucci, and Manolos. But I think that Big was definitely courting Natasha. And that's why he was always never emotionally available for her. I also think that was right up Carrie's alley, because if you remember, Aiden was everything as far as in the way they were dating that Big wasn't. He was emotionally available. He was there for her. He wanted her to meet his parents. Child, Mr. Big wouldn't even introduce Carrie to his mama, and Carrie, with her pick-me self, dragged Miranda down to the church just to get a glimpse of Big's mom.
As I watched Mr. Big standing quietly next to his mother, tall, proud, respectful.
Just a glimpse. Oh, Lord, Carrie. She wanted Big so bad. And he was showing her in every way, by not really just coming straight out and saying it, but by his actions, that you're not that girl. You are not that girl. He didn't see it for her. I also think that Carrie really, even if she didn't want to admit it, liked the pull and, you know, the back and forth, the pull and play, I guess you could say, of her and Big's relationship. Because Big would, you know, treat her like shit, and then, you know, show up at her house and, you know, act like he needed her in his life so bad. And even when he was going through his divorce with Natasha, he, you know, high-key kind of stalked her a little bit. You know, was mysteriously. Also, too, how the hell was they always popping up, seeing each other randomly in big-ass New York? Like, how was they always running into each other at the most convenient times? That was, you know, maybe a writing thing or whatever. But I I don't think that she ever wanted something that was really grounded. I think that she had, you know, this anxiety within her that he helped maintain. And you know what I mean? I feel like Carrie really would have benefited, you know, from therapy. Well, she did try to go to therapy that one time, if you remember. It didn't work. She ended up dating a man down to the office, down to the therapy office.
Maybe you're picking the wrong man.
Like, why are you gonna date somebody that you meet down to the therapy office? Now, look, I go to therapy, so I'm not saying that it's anything wrong with people seeking mental health care. But you in here, because your friends done told you that you talking too much about your ex and meet a man in the therapy office. You think that's a good idea? Why? Lastly, we're going to talk about Miranda. We're going to wrap this up. Miranda, I love Miranda's character. She was a lawyer, even though in Just Like That, the, you know, the other series, the spinoff series, she definitely, we could talk about that in another video because that's a whole nother thing. But in the show, Miranda was a lawyer. She was, you know, a boss. She was independent. She was also what I would consider a woman who was very much so doing her thing, okay? But they had to give Miranda the struggle love with Steve.
How can you...
Now look, I don't think that there is anything wrong with a woman dating someone who is, I guess you could say, quote unquote, not, you know, as wealthy as she is, okay? The problem with her and Steve was visibly intimidated by that. I will give you the example of when Miranda wanted to invite Steve to this office party at her firm, and he didn't have a suit, you know what I mean? Because Steve works down to the bar, you know, he works at a bar, so he didn't have a suit, and the suit that he had, it just wasn't, you know, up to, you know, the firm's standards, you know what I mean, this high society standards. So Miranda wanted to like get a suit for him, and honey, Steve was like, no, I'd rather go, bro.
This thing, I want to pay for the suit.
No way, you're not buying me a suit.
He charged it on like 2 different credit cards, uses income taxes, all kind of stuff. All then to come back and be like, you know what? I'm not going because like, Steve, now hold on, Steve. If you're going to be dating Miranda, you have to be solid in who you are as a man, you know what I mean? And I feel like Miranda, in certain instances, like dimmed her light to be with Steve. You know what I mean? Now I know it's some Steve lovers out there, and don't get me wrong, I rather enjoy parts of their relationship, but you know what I mean? They had to break up and for Steve to get in the partnership with Aiden, for him to open his own bar. Like, but y'all couldn't do that when y'all was together. Like, you know what I mean? Also, too, Miranda was judgy, too.
Jesus, every time you get near him, you turn into this pathetic, needy, insecure victim. And the thing that pisses me off the most is that you're more than willing to go right back for more.
Miranda was a little judgmental. She wasn't as judgmental as Charlotte, but Miranda had her judgy moments, okay? So, you know, she wasn't perfect. She had her touch of toxic in there as well. So, I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. Taking a walk down memory lane with me and Sex and the City. Tell me if you went back and rewatched Sex and the City, what are your takes on, as you know, well, you know what, in my 20s, I was not an adult. I was very much so still a child. So as an adult, what are your takes on some of the relationships and the scenarios in Sex and the City? You know, back in the day, everyone wanted to be, well, you know, everyone took on a character like, I'm a Carrie or I'm a Miranda. I think if I'm going to do that, I am going to do that. For this video, I'm going to say that I'm definitely Miranda with a touch of Charlotte, her optimism, the best parts of her optimism. And I'm gonna say I'm definitely Samantha's grind, because Samantha, she was a boss too. But Who are you? Which character would you be? And you can mix them up. You don't have to be, you know, just one. But I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. I hope that y'all have a wonderful Saturday. Next week, we are definitely going to come back with another vlog. But in the meantime, see you later, girl. Bye.